Hello everyone, my name is Katie. I am the Introverted Reader, and today's video is going to be a wrap up of the Bratz Readathon that I took part in this month. I realize it's September, we have one more day left, but I don't have any plans to finish off any more books for this specific readathon before the month is out, so I just wanted to get this wrap up out of the way because what is happening with my hair? Just because, you know, when one has the day off, one may as well. So anyway, I'll just get into it. I managed to complete nearly all of the prompts, although I did DNF one book, which is really sad. If you follow me on Twitter, you know what book that is, but I guess I'll just get it out of the way. The book that I ended up DNFing was the prompt for Latinx. I'm on Team Yasmin. By the way, I'm on Team Yasmin, just letting you all know. And the prompt that I ended up DNFing the book for was Latinx, read a book written by, that is an own voices Latinx story written by a Latinx author. And I looked around my bookshelf and literally this was the only one that I could find. And if I end up finding another one, I'll probably be kicking myself later. But the one that I picked out was Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera. And I got to, how far did I get? Let me see. I got to chapter 5 and then I just ended up DNFing it because I just couldn't be bothered. And I had heard so many not so good reviews about this book and the characters and just the plot and just everything. Like nearly everybody on Goodreads either gave it 1 or 2 stars. And I did ask on Twitter, should I just suck it up and read it, or should I just DNF, or should I just change it? But the month was getting near to a close, so I was like, you know what? Let's just suck it up. If I don't like it, if I don't like it, I don't like it. And then, yeah. And one of the main characters, what's his name? Brighton or something like that. I was told time again that he is just the worst. And the chapters that I read, he was only mildly annoying. But if he was going to get more annoying as the book went on, I didn't want to hear about it. So sadly, DNF this one. I will read more of Adam Silvera's works, like his contemporary works, but as for that particular series, it's a no from me, Simon. Anyway, back to the books that I actually did read and did finish. Rule by Ellen Goodlett. This was for the prompt for Pretty Princess, meaning read a book with a crown on the cover. And as you can see, there be a crown there. Now this was set to be like 3 Dark Crowns meets Pretty Little Liars, and I definitely did get those vibes from this while I was reading it. I actually listened to it on audiobook, which was actually very, very helpful. My audiobook subscription was very well used this month. Basically, it is a story about these 3 different girls. They all live in different parts of this kingdom, and they are basically all called to the palace one day to stand before the king, and they all think that they're about to be punished. Like each one of the 3 of them has committed some form of crime or has done something in the past that they think that has finally caught up with them, and they're like, oh, I'm about to die, he's going to execute me for treason, blah blah. But then the king ends up saying, actually, you 3 are my illegitimate daughters and one of you is going to take the crown because I'm dying. So basically this whole story is really just about these girls you know, finding out who they are, you know, getting to know like the palace more and the politics within the palace and stuff like that. And then they find out that someone is actually trying to blackmail them. So that's where the Pretty Little Liars thing comes in. These like mysterious messages start popping up being like, I know what you did and stuff like that. So it's all just very politically intriguing. And there's a lot of drama between the sisters as well, and a little bit of angst in there too. And there's actually a little bit of a sapphic relationship going on in here between one of the girls and someone else who I'm not going to say, but there is a female-female romance in here, which, yes, give me the gay, you know what I mean? But yeah, I did really enjoy this. I will definitely be getting the sequel because I'm really intrigued to see how this ends, because this did end on a pretty good cliffhanger, so I'm excited to continue with that. And in the end, I gave Rule 3 out of 5 stars. It wasn't wonderful, but I still really enjoyed it, and I was still really intrigued by the cliffhanger and whatnot. So there's that. The next one that I read and finished was for the prompt for Animal Rescue, and that was to read a book with an animal on the cover. And for that prompt, I chose Arosha and the End of Time by Roshani Chokshi. And as you can see, there are several different animals on here. We got some horses, we got a peacock, we got a tiger. So yeah, there's a good one. But anyway, this is a middle grade book about this girl called Arosha. And she lives with her mom above this museum. Her mom runs the museum of it's a museum of Indian culture. And so anyway, she lives there with her mom, and her mom are very rich. And the school that Arosha goes to, a lot of the students are quite well off. Like, they have rich parents, and they always come into school with lovely bright shiny shoes, and they come and arriving to school in like limos and stuff. And Arosha doesn't want any of them to know that she and her mom are not or don't have as much money as they all do. So she kind of gets through her day by telling little white lies. And one day, one of her little white lies gets her into trouble because she ends up trying to show off to some of her classmates, and she ends up releasing a demon from a lamp. Oops. And the series kind of goes from there. I really enjoyed this. It's been a minute since I've read a good fun middle grade, and this was exactly what I needed. Like, I really liked Arosha as a character. She was really funny, and I loved learning more about like Indian mythology and Indian culture and folklore and stuff like that. It was so fascinating and so interesting. So I definitely really loved my time reading this, and I gave Arosha 4 out of 5 stars. I will definitely be continuing on with this series. Loved it a lot. The next one that I read was for the prompt for Hopeless Romantic, and that was basically just read a book that has romance in it. Now, I'm not one for reading romance novels, honestly. I'm not the type to read a story that is primarily about a romance. Like, I don't mind there being romance in a story, but I need there to be more. This one's gay. This is Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. This is basically a story about the first son of the United States falling in love with one of the princes of Wales. Basically, they kind of have a history together. They for years, they didn't like each other at all. And then they get themselves into a little bit of a scandal, and basically their parents and everybody sit them down and they're like, listen, you need to do some damage control. You need to pretend to the world that you are the bestest of best friends, and like off camera, don't speak to each other, do what you like. But when we're on camera and when we're in public, you need to pretend that you're the bestest besties in the entire world. Like yeah. So, and they don't want to go along with it, but then obviously they try to go for the fake friendship and whatever, and then they end up actually becoming friends, and then they end up falling in love, and there be some steamy times in here, okay? Listen, I mean, it's not like graphic, but like, I'm just saying there is smut in here. So if anybody is like uncomfortable with that, or if you're not into that, I'm just warning you. But like this right here, like, this was so good. Like, I'm so glad I finally got up to read this. I love Alex and Henry's relationship. They are so sweet, and like, just, oh, they're so sweet together. And like, I just love this story so much. Like, really good bisexual representation in here. I know Alex comes out as bisexual in this, and just, oh, I love it. I loved it so much. And this is actually the first book by Casey McQuiston that I've ever read, so I will definitely be getting more of her books if any more should come out. So yes, I gave Red, White and Royal Blue 5 out of 5 stars, like the full 5. It was so good. The very last book that I want to talk about was actually the group book for the Bratz Readathon, and I think Nevra and Roxy, I believe, was the name of the prompt. They're supposed to be like the first sort of like Bratz dolls that are like in a lesbian relationship, which love that for them. But the group book was the Henna Wars. I actually ended up reading this on my Kindle because I went away with my family for a couple days out into the country, and I didn't want to bring a big heavy book with me, so I got it on my Kindle. and literally had it read in like 3 days. It was so good. So anyway, this is about our main character called Nishat, and she comes out to her family as a lesbian. And being from a Muslim family, her family have basically said that she can be whatever she wants except be gay. So she is struggling with that, struggling to get her family to accept her, and just sort of trying to navigate her way through school and stuff. She goes to an all-girls school, and I went to an all-girls school, so I felt her pain. But yeah, anyway, so throughout the book, she and her classmates get assigned this like business project. They kind of have to come up with a product, and then, you know, come up with a business plan and sell their product to like get like a passing grade for the course or whatever. And she gets the idea to run like a henna tattoo business. You know, you can see on their hands here, those are the henna tattoos. But then this new girl shows up to her school called Fatima, and she immediately gets a crush on Fatima. She immediately fancies her. But then whenever the project comes out, Fatima's in her class as well, and Fatima decides she wants to do a henna tattoo business as well, which wouldn't be a problem, except that Fatima is black and Brazilian. She is not East Asian or South Asian or anything like that. She's not Asian at all. And obviously Nishat has an issue with this, and I had such a problem with Fatima for the majority of this book, because she just could not see the error of her ways. She could not see that what she was doing was wrong, and just like not sticking up for Nishat at all whenever all the mean girls were bullying her. I had a real problem with her. I was just like, listen, if you end up finding someone else before the end of this book is over, my love, I wouldn't be crying about it, because Fatima's acting like a proper cow right now. But yeah, I mean, in the end, she did eventually see the error of her ways and stuff like that, and the romance between them was just so beautiful and just so pure and precious. Like, I mean, I had my issues with Fatima as the book went on, but in the end, I did really like her character, and like the more you got to know her, and you know, like there's a lot more to her than, you know, meets the eye and stuff like that. And also Nishat and her family slowly coming to terms with who she is and her sexuality and everything like that. So I loved it. I absolutely loved it. 5 out of 5 stars for the Henna Wars, and I will 100% be reading more from this author, who is Irish. Like, this book is set in Dublin. I am not from Dublin, obviously you can tell from my accent, but like, you know, whatever. Irish is Irish, really. So yeah, that is my wrap up for the Bratz Readathon. These are all the books that I read and finished. I DNF'd Infinity Sun. Sorry, Adam Silvera. I will definitely be reading more of his books, just not that series. Anyway, that is it for my wrap up for the Bratz Readathon. I had so much fun taking part in this readathon. It was great and wonderful. Thank you to all the hosts that put this whole thing together. You guys are real ones. Anyway, I have another wrap up to film for you guys. But until then, you have a good day. Twitter, my Instagram, down below as always. Subscribe if you're new and ring the bell. And I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be in just a couple of minutes. Okay, bye.